We're heading up to the biathlon facility at the Hay River Ski Club. And then right beside it, we have our little home on the range. So that's like our little athlete warming hut. And I don't think there's power yet, no. Everything that you see here is because of Pat. So Pat created the range, Pat built the home on the range building.
Pat was the biathlon guy for the North. He visited all of the communities, encouraging children of all ages, all skill levels, all athletic abilities to get outside, put on a pair of snowshoes, get on some skis, learn how to shoot, and just get out there.
My son came home from Harry Camsell School in Hay River. He was probably in grade 4 and said, Mom, he was quite excited. Mom, there's this guy. He has this lab. He's like into fish and he teaches kids how to shoot. I'm gonna go there with my friend. Just what every mom wants to hear. And I was amazed. I had 100 questions like, how do you do this and what, blah, 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 blah. Drove him crazy. And he got a gun, he handed it to me and said, here, you wanna know about biathlon? Do it.
Pat was my first biathlon coach when I started with the sport at the age of 9. You know, when I was 14 and I started to kind of have these Olympic aspirations and dreams, I think Pat was the first guy that really believed in me. I remember he made a promise to me one day at training. He says, when you qualify for the Olympics and when you race at the Olympics, I'll be there. I'll promise I'll be there. And in 2010, when I did make my Olympic debut in Vancouver, Pat was in the stands. I knew he'd be there.
He did biathlon not only in Hay River, but he brought it to right across the Northwest Territories, where he was traveling, doing biathlon clinics all across the north.
He wouldn't go into a community with all his gear and the air rifles unless there was someone in that community who really wanted it to happen. Because he didn't believe in the fly into a community, teach them your sport, then leave.
You know, I got to coach at the last 5 Arctic Winter Games, and I had kids on the team that were from places like Arctic Red River and Fort McPherson and Fort Liard and Holman Island. So Pat's reach was truly across the north, because how else do you explain kids from Sikachik or Holman Island, you know, Ulahaktuk, getting to be on an Arctic Winter Game team and represent the territories?
Personally, he's a coach to aspire to. Someone to encourage children, no matter what their abilities are, to stick with it and to work with those children with as much energy as I can possibly muster.
No matter how long it took to learn a new concept or learn a new skill, there was always enough time, and he was always very patient.
He gave you a chance and never made you feel insignificant or small. You
know, everything that was here was a means of him to provide a program for the kids.
You know, often I wouldn't finish my workout till 9 or 10 at night. Like, that's when I'd be out there until. But and Pat would always be there. He'd say, like, make up little excuses like, oh, he'd have extra work to do and stuff. But often I'd walk in the door after a long ski and he'd be like sleeping on the couch or whatever.
If I'd come out in the morning, he would be here. If I'd come out at nighttime to do a ski, he would still be here. And he would often be across the river, taking his canoe over in slushy conditions, and then working in the trails across to brush cut and clear trail and make sure they're just perfect for our ski season. And sometimes he was known to overnight, and we call this Pat's Corner over here, where we can see that we still have Pat's snow suits and everything, but he's been known to crash here even overnight when he had worked over on the other side till late in the evening, and he was going to keep going the next day and figured it's not worth the hour drive. Let's just crash here. So we haven't cleaned this corner yet.
Pat had a little bottle of rum. It was a Mickey of rum. And there were little marks on the side of the Mickey of rum and a name beside each to indicate how much rum he would have to drink to tolerate a certain person's performance or behavior. So there's lots of us on there, including me. And mine was about halfway down.
Sometimes I would make, or try to make Pat, you know, do something silly at practice, but that usually wouldn't happen. I would just get the eyeball, the hairy eye, the glare, and I don't think so.
He would leave bags of cookies very silently so that when we'd get back from our ski, there'd be Pat's cookies waiting for us on the counter that the children would devour.
He basically made my career as an athlete possible, and he played a massive role in that. The North will not be the same without Pat, that's for sure.
Right now we're talking about renaming the clubhouse Pat's Place.
I think Pat would be very honored, you know, in terms of being into the Hall of Fame. But I think Pat would want to be in the Hall of the Fame so that others can see what Pat did in the North and kind of try to follow that, try to emulate that. Look at what Pat did, you know, people like me, look at what Pat did for so many years and see how we can try to help keep biathlon going, you know, in our community and in the North. And so just try to do for other kids and other people what Pat did for me and for our family.
We miss him incredibly, and this winter is going to be tough.